Good morning. I am 5 minutes earlier today, so if you're watching in recording, you're welcome to fast forward or stay with us through our hellos. Good morning, Anne. Good morning, Joey. Good morning, Gina. Good morning, Mary. Good morning, John. All right, it is time for us to start. For the past month, as we are focusing on creating radical happiness through loving kindness, we are also touching on some very important Buddhist concepts that are called Brahma Viharas, which is translated as boundless states of consciousness. As the name suggests, those mind states are not bound by our habitual conditioning, but rather remind us of our interconnectedness with all there is, our oneness with the universe. And there are four such states as defined in Buddhism: metta itself, which is loving kindness or benevolence; karuna, compassion; mudita, sympathetic joy; and upekha, equanimity. Loving kindness itself is also an all-encompassing mind state that springs from the other three: compassion, equanimity, and sympathetic joy. And in this sense, it's kind of an umbrella state for all the three above, or for all of the above. Anyway, we have already discussed compassion in quite a bit of detail, and we started exploring a little bit the concept of equanimity. In the next week or so, we will look at sympathetic joy, and then we will return to equanimity once again, as it is the culmination of all four boundless states, a kind of balance that we create in our heart mind in response to the ever-changing reality that is our life. So sympathetic joy, or as it's called in Pali language, mudita, is our ability to rejoice in the good fortune and happiness of others. Of course, when something good happens to us and people are genuinely happy for us, their response feels like a tremendous gift, right? Some people may have a harder time summoning sympathetic joy at our success, though. They may smile on the outside, but we sense they'd be happier if we were not quite so happy. In our own heart, this ability to feel sympathetic joy helps us ignore that inner voice we sometimes hear when learning of a friend's triumph or anybody's success. The voice that says, "Oh, that's great, but I'd actually feel better if she had just a little less going for her right now or for him." Loving kindness practice deepens our ability to feel sympathetic joy. When we can go beyond feeling threatened or diminished by the success of another person, we come to understand that it takes nothing away from us. In fact, it increases our own chances for happiness. The Dalai Lama actually points out that there are so many other people in this world, it simply makes sense to make their happiness equivalent to our own, because then he says our chances of delight are enhanced 7 billion to 1. And those are very good odds, he adds. So much of our unhappy condition as living beings comes from this constricting effect of our negativity towards each other. We limit ourselves, we limit others, we judge each other, we judge ourselves, we compare ourselves to each other, demean and envy each other. And we ourselves suffer the strangling effect of these limitations. And it's okay to confront them head on, because as human beings, we all experience that at one point or another. And our task here is to unbind ourselves from this habitual conditioning and enter this boundless state of mind where interconnectedness is the ground. Because there are so many constricting mind states that are impediments to sympathetic joy, it is considered the most difficult of all the Brahma Viharas, of all the boundless mind states. So it's pretty hard to develop a genuine sympathetic joy without this tinge of, yeah, that's great, but. But so potent is this quality that expressing it can defeat the aversion and attachment that bind us. The Buddhist stories tell a wonderful parable about a kind of monkey trap. To make the trap, some tar is spread on the ground. A monkey then comes along and steps into the sticky tar. First, one little monkey foot gets stuck, and in trying to free itself, the monkey puts down another foot. Of course, it gets stuck more. Then it puts down one hand, then the other hand, and finally, in a desperate effort to gain some leverage and free itself, the monkey puts down its head, and there is a very stuck monkey right there. And that is just how these tormenting states of mind of ours, such as judging, comparing, discriminating, demeaning, envying, collude to get us stuck, to keep us stuck, and to make us miserable. So going back to that monkey, When the monkey has just one foot in the tar, instead of putting down the next foot and then the hands and then the head, if it were to reach out and grab a tree and pull itself away, it could be free, just like that. Mudita, sympathetic joy, can provide just that kind of opportunity for us to extricate ourselves from our stickiness, to be free enough from the tar traps in our lives and be truly happy. If we look carefully at each of those mind states that are impediments to sympathetic joy, the mind states where we get stuck, we can begin to understand how cultivating loving kindness and sympathetic joy can actually help to free us. And this is exactly what we're going to do in the next few days. Look at all these tormenting mind states one by one and find our way out of them. Today, though, we will just focus on the general understanding of mudita, sympathetic joy, and how it expresses itself, or doesn't, in our life. So let's explore this together. Take a comfortable position, and as always, take a few moments to connect with the circumstances of your practice, both internal and external. With each breath, dissolving the boundary between the internal and external, reminding yourself of the interconnectedness of all there is. Let your breath be easy and uncontrolled. And as you scan your body, grounding in this moment, invite effortlessness into your whole being, body, mind, and heart. When we undertake sympathetic joy as a formal meditation practice, we begin with someone who we care about deeply, someone that it is very easy for us to rejoice for. Even then, though, it may be somewhat difficult, but we tend to more easily feel joy for someone on the basis of our love and friendship. So now choose a friend and focus on a particular gain or source of joy in this person's life. Don't look for the absolute perfect happiness in their life because you may not find it. Nobody's life is absolutely perfect. Instead, reflect on whatever good fortune or happiness comes to your mind when you think of this person. Take delight in it and repeat a sympathetic joy phrase. That could be something like, may your happiness and good fortune not leave you, or may your happiness not diminish, or maybe may your good fortune continue. As always, choose the phrase that resonates the most with you, just one phrase, something around happiness or good fortune. May your good fortune continue. May your happiness not diminish, or whatever it is for you. So hold that person in your mind's eye and direct the flow of this word, of this phrase to them. And as you do this, notice whatever comes to you as you recite your sympathetic joy phrase. What do you feel in your body, in your heart? What thoughts come to your mind? Without judgment, acknowledge if the feeling you experience toward the good fortune of your friend is actually that of pure sympathetic joy? Or is there just a little bit of envy in it? A bit of why not me type of thing? And if that's the case, don't worry. Please remember it is normal. We're all human. And remember, we're just practicing not to get trapped in this monkey trap. So if one of your feet gets a little bit stuck, remember there is always a branch of loving kindness, sympathetic joy that you can pull yourself out of the trap with. So when you catch yourself feeling, thinking outside of sympathetic joy towards your friend, simply acknowledge it. Find your grounding breath and continue with the phrase you chose. May your good fortune continue. May your happiness not diminish. Of course, go through this process as many times as needed, as many times as you feel this tinge of envy or unfairness, perhaps. Don't consider yourself a bad person for that. Don't judge. It's okay. Simply stick to the practice, and maybe you'll feel glimpses of this pure sympathetic joy during this practice. Maybe you won't. Maybe you'll feel them later. Again, it's okay. Practice makes perfect. Be patient with yourself and rejoice in your willingness to cultivate this boundless state of mind. As you go through your day today, I encourage you to notice your internal response to the good fortune of others, whether they are friends of yours or otherwise. And notice, is that pure sympathetic joy that you're feeling? Or is it some form of envy? Or, even more likely, it may be a mixture of the two. Remember, there is no judgment, just gentle exploration of your inner workings, of your inner conditioning, as usual. We want to honestly and openly look at what's happening inside of us so that we can get untrapped and eventually learn to recognize those traps for what they are and not even step one foot in them. Thank you so much for being here today. Have a beautiful day, and I will see you tomorrow.